AITA for canceling $14,900 worth of plans after my niece ruined my daughter's school show? I'm Rebecca, 36, and I'm Harper's mother before I'm anyone's daughter, sister, or unpaid family problem solver. Harper is 8. She is not a child prodigy, and she is not the kind of kid who walks into a room expecting applause. She gets nervous, forgets lyrics when people stare at her, and counts beats under her breath when she thinks no one is listening. But when she cares about something, she works at it with a seriousness that can make you forget how little she is. For 3 months, she practiced the opening song for her end-of-year performance almost every night. She would line up 4 stuffed animals on the edge of her bed, smooth their ears and say, "Every audience deserves respect." Then she would start again from the beginning. Sometimes she missed the high note. Sometimes she rushed the last verse. Sometimes she got frustrated and buried her face in a pillow. I would sit on the floor with the lyrics on my phone and tell her, "Take a breath. You know it. Your nerves are just louder than your memory right now." By the week of the performance, she could make it through the whole song without stopping. She picked a simple white dress with a soft skirt and tiny pearl-colored buttons. It hung from her closet door for days because she liked looking at it. The night before the show, I steamed it while she sat cross-legged on the carpet and asked me questions every 30 seconds. Do you think I'll shake? Probably a little. What if I miss a note? Keep going. Do you think Grandma will actually watch this time? That one made me pause. I'll be watching every second, I said. It was not the answer she had asked for, and we both knew it. My mother, Sharon, has always treated attention like a limited resource that she controls. My older brother, Caleb, has always received the largest share of it. Caleb is 38, and in our family, his problems have traditionally become everyone else's responsibilities. If he forgot a birthday, he was overwhelmed. If he arrived an hour late, traffic had been terrible. If he could not afford something, the family was expected to quietly rearrange itself until he could. I was the reliable one, which sounds like a compliment until you realize it means people stop asking whether you have the time, money, or emotional energy to fix what they broke. Over the years, I paid deposits when Caleb forgot. I covered activity fees when Sharon said Brianna would be embarrassed if she could not participate. I kept extra hair ties, stain remover, safety pins, snacks, and tissues in my purse because someone always needed something. At Sunday dinners, I smiled through small digs because I wanted Harper to have grandparents, a cousin, holiday traditions, and the kind of ordinary family memories I saw other children take for granted. I wanted her to have a family, not a list of people I had to manage. For a long time, I convinced myself the difference was only a matter of patience. Brianna, Caleb's 10-year-old daughter, had what Sharon called a big personality. That phrase covered a lot. When Brianna tore one of Harper's drawings in half because Harper would not give it to her, Sharon said she was being expressive. When Brianna hid Harper's shoes before a recital and watched us search for 20 minutes, Caleb said, "They're kids. Don't make it weird." When Brianna imitated Harper crying at the dinner table, Sharon laughed so hard she had to put down her fork. Harper stared at her plate while Harold, my father, stared at his. I said, "That's enough." Sharon waved me off. "Some kids are just more sensitive." "No," I said. "Some kids are allowed to be cruel because the adults around them think it's entertaining." The room went quiet for about 5 seconds. Then Caleb leaned back in his chair and said, "You always act like Harper is better than my kid. I'm asking your daughter not to humiliate mine. You're making it sound worse than it is." That was how every conversation ended. Brianna did something. Harper reacted. The adults discussed Harper's reaction as though it were the real problem. And I kept coming back. That is the part one regret most. A month before the performance, Sharon called me about summer plans. She had organized a week at a beach rental for the family and registered Brianna for a summer performance camp connected to the same program Harper attended. Caleb was tight this month, which was Sharon's phrase for any situation in which he wanted something but did not want to pay for it. "You know he has a lot going on," she said. "Don't embarrass him by making this about money." I wasn't making it about money. "Well, good. Then you can put the camp fee on your card, and Caleb will pay you back." "How much?" She hesitated just long enough to warn me. "The camp, activity fees, upgraded lodging, and several beach rental add-ons came to far more than I expected. Sharon had also selected a larger rental so Caleb and Brianna could have separate rooms. I told her I would cover the deposits only if Caleb repaid me before the final payment dates. Of course he will, she said. He did not. When I reminded him, he sent a thumbs up and changed the subject. I should have canceled then. Instead, I told myself I was protecting Harper's summer from adult tension. She was excited about the trip. She wanted to collect shells with Brianna and sleep in the bunk room, even though Brianna had already announced that Harper would have to take the lower bed because little kids go underneath. The afternoon of the end-of-year show, I packed tissues, safety pins, extra hair ties, a bottle of water, and a granola bar Harper would not eat because she was too nervous. The auditorium had folding chairs arranged in uneven rows, printed programs stacked by the entrance, and a parent volunteer table covered with name tags and paper cups. Children in performance clothes moved through the aisles while adults tried to take pictures without blocking anyone. Harper held my hand so tightly her fingers felt cold. "You're ready," I told her. "I think my stomach is trying to leave." "That means it's working." She gave me a weak smile. Near the volunteer table, Brianna was arguing with Sharon. "Why does she get the first song?" Brianna asked. "Because the director picked her," I said before Sharon could answer. Brianna looked at Harper's dress, then at Harper. "It's not even a hard song." Harper's shoulders tightened. "Brianna," I said, "go get ready for your group." Sharon gave me an amused look. "Relax. She's competitive. She's rude." "Oh, Rebecca." That was when I noticed the small silver drawstring bag in Sharon's hand. I assumed it contained costume accessories. Caleb was standing near the aisle with his phone already out, testing different angles like he expected something worth recording. At the time, none of it seemed important enough to question. The lights dimmed a few minutes later. Harper walked onto the stage alone. The white dress looked almost blue under the overhead lights. She stood behind the microphone, glanced toward the front row and found me. I smiled and pressed my hand over my heart, the little signal we had practiced. She took a breath. The first verse was quiet but steady. On the second line, her voice caught slightly, then recovered. By the chorus, she had stopped looking at me and started looking above the audience, just as the director had taught her. I remember thinking, she's doing it. Then someone moved quickly down the aisle. At first, I saw only a flash of sequins and dark hair. Brianna ran up the side steps and crossed the stage before the program director could reach her. She grabbed the microphone from Harper. The speakers let out a sharp squeal. Harper flinched and covered one ear. Brianna shouted, "This is boring," then pulled a large bottle of glitter glue from the silver drawstring bag. She squeezed it down the front of Harper's dress. The first stream landed across Harper's shoulder and chest. The second soaked into the skirt. Thick pink glue, packed with silver glitter, slid down the fabric in slow streaks and dripped onto the stage. For 1 second, no one reacted. Parents froze with their phones raised. A child backstage gasped. Someone in the second row whispered, "Oh my God." Harper looked down at herself. Then she looked at me. Her face crumpled. I was out of my chair before she started crying. As I reached the stage, I heard Sharon laugh. Not a nervous laugh. Not a shock sound. A real laugh. "I promised her a MacBook if she made Harper cry," she said to the woman beside her, loud enough for several rows to hear. "I guess she earned it." Caleb was still filming. The program director took the bottle from Brianna and told her to step off stage. Brianna looked toward Sharon, not toward Caleb, as if waiting to see whether she had done well. Sharon clapped once and grinned. I climbed the steps, took off my jacket, and wrapped it around Harper's shoulders. Glitter glue was already soaking through the fabric. Her hands were shaking. "Did I do something wrong?" she whispered. "No," I said. "Not one thing." Behind me, Caleb called, "Rebecca, relax. She's 10. I turned just enough to look at him. "Put the phone down. Come on." It was a joke. I did not argue. I did not shout. I did not give them another scene to enjoy. I took Harper's hand and said, "We are leaving. Nobody touches her." Sharon followed us into the aisle. "Don't be dramatic. It's glitter, not a crime scene." I stopped. "That word is done today." Harper was crying too hard to walk quickly, so I kept one arm around her while we moved through the auditorium. People shifted out of our way. A few parents looked embarrassed. One woman touched my elbow and said, "I recorded what happened. I'll send it to you." I gave her my number without stopping. Outside, the evening air felt colder than it should have. I helped Harper into the back seat and gave her my headphones. She curled toward the window with my jacket still wrapped around her. Sharon, Caleb, and Harold followed us into the parking lot. Caleb still had his phone in his hand. "You're seriously leaving?" he asked. I closed Harper's door gently. "Yes. You're blowing this up. She planned it. She's a child. And you filmed her." His eyes flicked away. Sharon crossed her arms. Brianna was upset. Harper has been getting all the attention for weeks. She got one opening song. Well, Brianna didn't. That does not explain the glue. It was washable. It was not. I had checked the label while the director was taking the bottle. Harold rubbed his forehead. "Let's all lower our voices." No one was yelling except Caleb. "Rebecca, don't turn this into a family war," Harold said. "Kids don't understand consequences like adults do." I looked through the window at Harper. Pink glue had dried in a hard line along the edge of her collar. She was staring straight ahead, pretending not to hear us. "You're right," I said. "So I'm starting with the adults." Caleb stepped closer. "What does that mean?" "It means I'm not discussing this here. Because you know you're overreacting." "No. Because Harper has already been humiliated once tonight, and I'm not doing this in front of her." I got into the car and left. At home, I filled the bathtub and helped Harper wash glitter out of her hair. It stuck to her neck, her arms, and the floor. Every time I thought it was gone, another silver speck appeared under the bathroom light. The dress went into a plastic laundry bag. The glue had stiffened across the bodice and fused several layers of the skirt together. Harper put on pajamas and sat on the bathroom counter while I combed her hair. "Is Grandma mad at me?" she asked. "No." She laughed. "I know. Brianna only does stuff when Grandma thinks it's funny." I stopped combing. Children notice systems long before adults admit they exist. "I'm sorry," I said. "For what?" "For not stopping this sooner." She looked down at her hands. "I don't want to talk anymore." "That's okay." I tucked her into bed and stayed until she fell asleep. Then I went to the kitchen, opened my laptop and started saving everything. Caleb had already sent me the video he recorded, along with a message. "You always act like Harper is better than my kid. Maybe now she'll learn she's not special." I watched the clip twice. The video started 14 seconds before Brianna entered the stage. Caleb had positioned himself with an unobstructed view of the side steps. He zoomed in when Brianna reached into the drawstring bag. He had not been surprised. The parent from the auditorium sent me her recording. Her angle showed Sharon standing near the aisle before the performance. Brianna approached her. Sharon handed over the silver bag, leaned down and said something the camera did not pick up. Then Caleb moved into position. I saved both videos in 2 locations. Next came the voicemails. Sharon left 3. In the first, she said the incident looked worse than it was. In the second, she accused me of teaching Harper to cry for attention. In the third, her voice softened into the wounded tone she uses when she knows anger will not work. "I was trying to keep things light," she said. "You have never understood that. And before you start making accusations, I never told Brianna to dump the whole bottle. I thought she was just going to interrupt the song." I saved that one twice. Then I opened my email and searched every payment connected to Caleb, Brianna, and the summer. The beach rental was under Sharon's name, but I had paid the deposit, lodging upgrade, activity package, and several non-essential add-ons. The base reservation would remain, but canceling what I had funded meant Caleb would either have to pay the remaining balance himself or share a smaller room with Sharon and Harold. The summer performance camp registration listed me as the payer on record. I read the cancellation policies carefully. Some deposits were non-refundable. I accepted that. I canceled the upgraded lodging, activity package, equipment rentals, meal add-ons, and transportation reservation. I removed my card from the family booking account. I canceled Brianna's camp payment pending the program's conduct review. I also revoked Caleb's saved access to a payment method I had allowed him to use for emergencies 2 years earlier. The total amount removed from their summer plans was $14,900. A little over $1,300 would not come back to me because of non-refundable fees. Losing that money irritated me, but not enough to change my decision. At 11:18 p.m., I sent Caleb one message. I have removed my payment method and canceled the portions of the summer plans that I funded. If you want those things, pay for them yourself. Do not contact Harper. His reply came immediately. You can't just cancel everything because you're mad. I wrote back. I did not take anything you paid for. I stopped paying for things you felt entitled to. He called 6 times. I did not answer. At 11:46, Sharon texted, "Punishing Brianna financially will only prove you are jealous of her." I did not respond to that either. Instead, I emailed the program director. I described what happened in plain language, attached the 2 video clips, and requested an official incident report. I asked whether Sharon had used her volunteer access to help Brianna enter the stage area, and whether the conduct policy applied to the summer session. I did not post the videos online. For about 5 angry minutes I wanted to. I imagined everyone seeing exactly what they had done. Then I pictured Harper going to school with classmates whispering about a video of her crying in a glue-covered dress. That would have punished her again. So I kept everything private. The next morning, I woke at 6:30 a.m. after barely sleeping. Harper was still in bed. I made coffee, sat at the kitchen table, and watched the clock move while my phone buzzed with missed calls. At 7:40 a.m., the program director emailed me. The subject line was, "Incident Review and Summer Session Status." The email used careful, neutral language. Based on witness statements and available auditorium footage, the incident appears to have been prepared in advance. It confirmed that Brianna had brought the glitter glue into the auditorium in violation of event rules, entered the stage without permission, disrupted another participant's performance, and intentionally damaged a costume. It also confirmed that Sharon had provided the bag and used volunteer access to position Brianna near the stage entrance. Then I reached the paragraph that made me sit back. Sharon had called the director shortly after 7 o'clock that morning. She claimed Harper had provoked Brianna backstage. She said Harper had bragged about being the star, laughed at Brianna's group placement, and shoved her near the curtain. The auditorium footage showed Harper had not been backstage with Brianna at all before the opening number. The director wrote that the statement was not consistent with reviewed footage or witness accounts. Brianna was removed from the summer performance session for violating conduct expectations. Sharon's volunteer access for upcoming events was suspended. Because I was the original payer, the camp fee and related activity charges would be refunded to my payment method. A small registration fee would remain non-refundable. The program required a written apology from Brianna before she could apply to future sessions. Reinstatement for that summer was not being considered. I forwarded the email to myself, saved a copy, and closed the laptop. For the first time since the performance, I felt something other than anger. I felt validated. Not pleased. Not triumphant. Just relieved that someone outside my family had looked at the facts and refused to rename cruelty as humor. Caleb called at 8:02 a.m. I answered because I knew the program had probably contacted him. He was shouting before I said hello. "Do you have any idea what you've done?" I read the email. "Brianna is out of camp." "Yes. She's been crying all morning." In the background, I heard Brianna yelling, "I hate her," followed by the sound of packaging tearing. Caleb lowered his voice. "Mom bought the MacBook. Brianna opened it last night because she thought she earned it. And now you've taken away the program she wanted." I gripped the edge of the table. "Do you hear what you just said?" "What?" "You're asking me to care more about her laptop and camp than what she did to Harper. She's 10. She knew she wanted to make Harper cry. You knew enough to film it before it happened. Mom handed her the bag. You don't know what I knew. I have your text." Silence. Then he said, "You always act like your kid is innocent. This is not about whether Harper is perfect. It is about what the 3 of you planned. No one planned anything. The venue footage says otherwise. He exhaled sharply. You're using money to control us. No. I'm refusing to fund people who hurt my child. You're punishing everyone over glitter. You can call it glitter. The program called it a conduct violation. He hung up. By noon, Sharon had started calling relatives. She did not use a group chat. That would have made it too easy for people to compare her versions. Instead, she contacted them privately. Aunt Carla called me first. Carla is Sharon's younger sister. She values family unity almost as much as Harold does, but unlike Harold, she will eventually ask a direct question when something feels wrong. Your mother says you canceled the beach trip and got Brianna thrown out of camp, she said. I canceled what I paid for. The program removed Brianna after reviewing footage. She said it was a prank with washable glitter. It was glitter glue. The dress is ruined. Carla sighed. Rebecca, I'm not saying they handled it well, but canceling a child's whole summer seems harsh. Did Mom tell you she promised Brianna a MacBook if she made Harper cry? There was a pause. No. Did she tell you Caleb was filming before Brianna reached the stage? No. Did she tell you she called the program this morning and falsely accused Harper of shoving Brianna? Another pause. No. I'm going to send you a timeline. Please review it before deciding whether I went too far. I sent the same brief email to Carla and Harold because both had been contacted by Sharon. I did not include insults or speculation. I listed the times. The parents' video showing Sharon hand Brianna the bag. Caleb's video beginning before the stunt. The audio of Sharon announcing the MacBook reward. Caleb's text. Sharon's voicemail admitting she expected an interruption. The program director's email. The cancellation confirmation showing I had removed only charges paid from my accounts. At the top I wrote, before anyone repeats that I punished a child for glitter, please review what the adults admitted and what the venue confirmed. Carla called again 20 minutes later. Her voice sounded different. Did Sharon know that woman was recording? I don't think so. And Caleb really sent that text? Yes. Your mother told me Brianna acted impulsively. She also told the program Harper shoved her. Carla was quiet. Finally, she said, that is not a prank. That's adults setting up a child to hurt another child. It was the first time anyone in my family had said it plainly. Harold did not respond to the email. That afternoon, Sharon left another voicemail. You always were cold when you didn't get your way, she said. Now you have embarrassed your brother, devastated your niece, and turned Carla against me. I hope the money was worth destroying this family. I saved it. Harper stayed quiet for the next few days. She did not ask to practice. She did not touch the stuffed animals lined up beside her bed. When I washed her hair, I still found glitter near her scalp. The dress could not be restored. A cleaner told me the glue had bonded to the fabric, and the solvent required to remove it would damage the material. I sent Sharon and Caleb an invoice for the dress and cleaning assessment. Caleb replied with a laughing emoji. Then, you're seriously invoicing your own family? I wrote. Yes. Sharon called the invoice petty. Caleb called it financial abuse, which was an interesting description from someone angry that he could no longer use my card. 2 days later, Harold called and asked everyone to attend dinner at my parents' house. Harper will not be there, I said. That may be better. It is not better. It is a consequence. He was quiet. I understand, he said. I did not think he did, but I agreed to attend because Carla would be there, and because I wanted to deliver my boundaries once clearly without allowing Sharon or Caleb to claim confusion later. When I arrived, the dining room looked exactly as it always did. Sharon had set out the same serving bowls, the same water glasses, and the same folded cloth napkins. The normal arrangement made the tension feel sharper. Caleb was already there. The moment I walked in, he said, "Tell me you restored the rental." I put my phone beside my plate. "No." "Then why are we here?" Harold said. "Let's sit down." Sharon had red eyes, but her makeup was intact. She waited until everyone was seated before speaking in a soft voice. Rebecca ruined a little girl's summer because she cannot take a joke. Carla set down her fork. That is not what happened. Sharon looked at her. You weren't there. I saw the video. You saw the version Rebecca wanted you to see. There are 2 videos and an incident report. Caleb leaned forward. She's been building a case against a 10-year-old. No, I said. I documented what the adults did. He pointed at me. You weaponized money. You used my money to reward someone for humiliating my daughter. I stopped funding it. Sharon's mouth tightened. I did not reward anyone for humiliating Harper. I unlocked my phone and played the auditorium clip. Brianna grabbed the microphone. The speakers squealed. Glitter glue spread down Harper's dress. Then Sharon's voice came through clearly. I promised her a MacBook if she made Harper cry. I guess she earned it. No one spoke after the video ended. Carla took my phone and replayed the last 10 seconds. Then she looked at Sharon. Did you promise that child a MacBook if she made Harper cry? Sharon reached for her water. I was joking. Before or after Brianna went on stage? It was not meant the way it sounds. How was it meant? Sharon's eyes filled. You all know Brianna was disappointed. Harper was getting praised constantly, and I thought a little teasing might bring her down to earth. Harper is 8, Carla said. So is she too young to handle teasing or old enough to be treated like some little celebrity? No one treated her like a celebrity, I said. She practiced for a song. Caleb cut in. You made the whole family revolve around it. I steamed a dress and brought her to rehearsal. You posted pictures. I sent one picture to the family. You always act like Harper is better than Brianna. I opened his text and slid the phone toward Carla. You always act like Harper is better than my kid. Maybe now she'll learn she's not special. Carla read it, then looked at Caleb. You knew. I knew Brianna wanted to interrupt. You stood in the aisle and filmed. I film everything. You started before she ran toward the stage. He looked at Harold. Are you going to let them interrogate me? Harold stared at the table. I opened the program director's email. Mom called the director the next morning and said Harper shoved Brianna backstage, I said. Sharon looked up sharply. Carla said, Did you? I was told there had been an argument. By whom? Brianna. The camera showed Harper never went backstage before her song. Sharon pressed a napkin to the corner of one eye. I was trying to protect my granddaughter. You have 2 granddaughters, I said. That landed harder than anything else. Harold closed his eyes. Sharon whispered, I love Harper. You laughed while she cried. I was nervous. You offered Brianna a computer for making it happen. I was trying to motivate her after she was disappointed. To do what? Sharon did not answer. Caleb pushed his chair back. This is ridiculous. Restore the vacation, let Brianna back into camp, and we can move on. I cannot restore her camp spot. The program removed her. You started the complaint. The director watched the footage. So you're just going to destroy her summer? I canceled the expenses I paid. You are free to fund another camp, another vacation, or anything else you want. You know I can't afford that right now. That does not make it my obligation. He laughed once without humor. There it is. You like having leverage. I liked believing I was helping family. I was actually financing entitlement. Sharon raised her voice. You always punish everyone when you don't get your way. I looked at her. You wanted my silence when my child cried. You wanted my money when Brianna got rewarded. You do not get both. The room went still. Then Harold finally spoke. I should have said something before it got this far. Caleb rolled his eyes. Sharon looked betrayed. Harold kept going. I thought keeping quiet kept the family together. It kept me paying and Harper hurting, I said. He nodded slowly. I know that now. No, you know it because there is a video. Harper knew it before the video. He did not argue. I had not come for apologies, but I had come with boundaries. I stated them one at a time. Sharon would not be alone with Harper. Not at dinner, not in a car, not for just a few minutes. Caleb and Brianna would not approach Harper without my permission. Any apology that began with sorry you felt, or blamed Harper's reaction would not reach her. Harper would not be required to hug Brianna, speak to her, forgive her, or attend family gatherings to make the adults more comfortable. I would no longer pay for Caleb's vacations, camps, activity fees, forgotten deposits, or emergencies that somehow included upgraded rooms and entertainment packages. Anyone who called Harper dramatic, fragile, spoiled, or attention-seeking would lose access to her. Sharon stared at me. You cannot keep my granddaughter from me. I can keep my daughter away from people who encourage her humiliation. You are acting like I am dangerous. You taught Brianna that cruelty had prizes. I am teaching all of you that consequences have invoices. Caleb stood up. You're enjoying this. No. I would have enjoyed watching my daughter finish her song. That ended the conversation for me. I got up and left. The fallout was not clean. 2 relatives told me privately that I had gone too far by canceling the vacation add-ons. One said children should not lose opportunities because adults behave badly. I told her Brianna lost the camp because of her own conduct, not my cancellation, and Caleb was free to arrange a different opportunity with his own money. She said that was technically true but still harsh. I could live with technically true. The program required Brianna to write an apology letter. Caleb resisted at first, arguing that the email had already embarrassed her enough. The director told him the requirement would remain on her record whether he cooperated or not. A week later I received a scanned copy. It was short and imperfect. I embarrassed Harper on purpose and ruined her dress. I should not have gone on stage. I knew she would cry. Grandma said I would get the computer, but I still did it. I am sorry. There was no dramatic transformation. Brianna did not suddenly become thoughtful. She reportedly complained through most of writing it. But it was the first time an adult had required her to name what she had done without changing the subject to Harper's feelings. Sharon did buy the MacBook. Caleb told Carla that he took it away after the program director's email, although I did not ask how long that lasted. Whether Brianna kept it was no longer my responsibility. The dress stayed in the laundry bag for several days. One evening I found Harper sitting on her bedroom floor beside it. She was touching the dry edge of glue through the plastic. I sat down beside her. Do you want me to throw it away? I asked. Not yet. Okay. She leaned against my shoulder. After a while I said, I owe you an apology. She looked at me. For the dress. For all the times I told you to ignore things because I wanted everyone to get along. She picked at a loose thread on her pajama sleeve. I thought adults would always pick Brianna. The sentence hurt more than any voicemail Sharon had left. I should have stopped calling it keeping the peace when it was costing you, I said. I saw pieces of what was happening, but I kept hoping the adults would get better if I stayed calm and helpful. Did they? No. Do I have to forgive her? Not before you're ready. Not because someone wants dinner to feel less awkward. You can accept an apology without trusting someone again, and you do not even have to accept it right now. She nodded. Do I have to see Grandma? No. What about Grandpa? Only when you want to, and I will be there. She thought about that. Then she asked, Can I still sing the song? Of course. I mean for people. That was the first sign that she wanted the moment back. We planned a small performance at home the following Saturday. Not a replacement show because nothing could erase what happened, but a chance for Harper to finish what she had started. She chose a plain blue dress from her closet. I offered to buy a new white one, but she shook her head. I don't want it to look the same. That made sense. We invited Carla, 2 parents from the program, Harper's closest friend and her mother, and eventually Harold after he apologized directly to Harper. His apology was awkward, but it was real. He said, I should have protected you when I saw people being unkind. I stayed quiet because I did not want an argument. That was wrong. Harper did not hug him. He did not ask her to. Sharon was not invited. Neither were Caleb or Brianna. I moved the coffee table, set out folding chairs, and propped my phone on a shelf to record. Carla brought cupcakes. Harper's friend made a paper sign that said Harper's Redo, then crossed out Redo and wrote Real Show underneath. Harper stood near the fireplace with her hands clasped. She looked at me and whispered, "Can I start over from the beginning?" "Absolutely," I said. "This time, everyone waits until you're done." She started softly. Her voice shook through the first verse. She missed one note in the chorus and glanced at me. I smiled and kept still. She continued. No one interrupted. No one laughed. No one tried to make the moment about themselves. When she finished, the room stayed quiet for half a second, just long enough for her to know she had reached the end. Then everyone applauded. Harper smiled so widely that she had to cover her mouth. Later, while people ate cupcakes in the kitchen, she asked me to play the recording. We watched it together. She did not ask whether she sounded perfect. She asked, "Did you see?" I kept going after I missed the note. I saw. The beach trip still happened, but not as Sharon had planned. Without my payments, Caleb could not afford the upgraded room, activity package, or transportation add-ons. He and Brianna did not go. Sharon blamed me for splitting the family, although the reservation was hers and she could have paid the remaining costs herself. She chose not to. I received the camp refund, minus the registration fee. I also received partial refunds from the rental add-ons. The ruined dress was eventually reimbursed by Harold, who said he was paying because he should have intervened. I told him paying for a dress did not repair the larger damage. He said he understood. I am not sure he fully does, but he has stopped asking me to call Sharon. Caleb has contacted me twice for money since then. Once for an activity Brianna wanted to join and once because he claimed he was short on a utility bill. I declined both times. He called me vindictive. I did not argue. Sharon continues to tell some relatives that I destroyed the family over glitter. I no longer send evidence unless someone brings the accusation directly to me. Most people have stopped asking because the facts do not become kinder with repetition. Harper has not forgiven Brianna, and I have not pushed her. She has seen Harold a few times with me present. She has not seen Sharon. I do not know when that will change. What I do know is that I did not cancel a child's summer because of glitter. I stopped financing a family system that rewarded cruelty and expected my daughter to absorb it quietly. For years I thought peace meant preventing conflict, smoothing over insults, paying what was needed, and asking Harper to be the bigger person because she was easier to reason with. That was not peace. It was convenience for everyone except us. For the first time I did not pay to keep the peace. I paid attention to what the peace had been costing my daughter. If you liked it, don't forget to leave a comment and support the channel by subscribing. See you in the upcoming stories.